Okay. This is my E mug. It says E on the front. The reverse side has a picture of Adachi from Persona 4. I don't know why I own this. I've been watching The Apprentice season 16 because it's broadcasting at the moment and because it's pandemic season. I don't know anyone in this town. And so I sort of just, after I finish at work, I just sort of sit on a couch somewhere and watch The Apprentice. There was this one episode where they did video games, where they had the two teams break off and like make video games, right? And that was exciting to me because I'm like the video game guy. Video games are somehow the job that I do. And so I was interested to see how that went. But the thing that actually got me the most about the episode, and I'm gonna critically review the episode so I don't get sued for copyright infringement here, but there was this bit at the beginning where they show like an animation of Lord Sugar on like a car fighting some dudes and stuff. And while the animation is maybe janky a bit in places, the actual likeness of Lord Sugar is really good. Like, it actually really looks like Lord Sugar. They must have used like a 4K camera or something to capture the original like face, so it actually like looks like him. And they got Karen and Tim and everything as well from the show, and it looks really good. Like the character likeness is incredible. But the thing is, they used the same software they used for that CG thing at the start of the show to put the like candidates into the games that the teams ultimately made. And on the one hand, that's really cool. We live in the future. But on the other hand, it's like I want to be in a video game. I could do it. So the software they use to make the character models on the show is called Character Creator 3 by Reallusion. It's a useful piece of kit if you want to make realistic 3D humanoid characters at speed. You can also buy a plugin called Headshot, which lets you scan a 2D photograph and turn it into a face, which I assume is how they got the actual character model in the show to look so realistic. The only problem is the price tag, which is but I committed to the bit now, so. With Character Creator 3 installed, we can start making the character. I also bought a couple of assets. I quite like the scarf in this outfit, so we're going to use this one. Just need to find a picture of me that doesn't look horrific. Yeah, let's go with this one. So we drop that into CC3 and let it do its thing. I'm mostly clean shaven in this picture, so we'll just tell the algorithm that I'm like clean rough, which feels most right. It takes a second to process the data or whatever, and then... I mean, I'm a little off kilter, but then again, it has captured how much I look like the creature from 2-Sentence Horror, so I'm pretty happy with that. Put the outfit back on, add some hair. Oh lord, no. Yeah, sure, close enough. And with that, there I am. I look even pastier in this software than I do in real life somehow. Take a quick photo for Instagram, and then let's drop it in Unity. So now the virtual me is in the video game, but we want to get it running around and jumping and doing all of that. Fortunately, I have a plugin for this exact purpose because it's 2 AM and I can't be bothered to code, and also I don't have to justify myself to you. So I'm moving around and jumping in the game now. Part of me thinks it would be funny after all this just to call it good here, and as amusing as it is that I'm moving around and T-posing and stuff, it would probably look better if there were some animations and, you know, level design. So I'm just gonna figure out how to do that. Okay, I don't really get it, but the plugin comes with a bunch of prefabs with an existing animator structure, so I'm just going to drag and drop my animations into the slots and hope for the best. For the animations themselves, I'm using Mixer Mode because I'm not an artist and because this gives me access to a bunch of free humanoid animations that should work fine for the sort of prototypal purposes we're working for here. There's a jump, a walk, a run, etc, etc. So let's give it a try. And No, that didn't work really at all, actually. Okay, wait, no, I got it. Turns out if you have the root motion box checked on the animator, the animation can alter where the character is in, like, world terms, which we don't want, because we always want it to be where the actual moving character is, if that makes sense. What do you mean that doesn't make sense? Then I put it in Character Movement Fundamentals' showcase scene, and to be honest, we're unironically pretty much there. It's got moving platform support, mesh terrain support, it handles slopes and stairs, it has gravity wells for some reason. This is just like that film where they go into the dream or whatever. The SpongeBob movie. After not a lot of work on my part and a lot of work on the part of my wallet, we already have basically the thing we set out to make, EA Sports. I'm in the game. But we don't necessarily want the player to be running around in like a dev kit. So let's see if there's something we can do about that. So I put the controller into like this 3D city alleyway asset, and maybe it should be an open world game? No. I said I was gonna make a platformer, so we're gonna make a platformer. So I blocked out this corridor section to be like the tutorial level, and then added some dumpsters so it has more in common with my career in journalism. And then I added the first obstacle, which is like a fence. How do you think we can get past the fence? We can't go under it. The gap to the sides is too thin to go around it. So what do we do? Pause the video and leave your answer in the comments. If you guessed jumping over it, then you would be wrong. The correct answer is to go into the scene view, move the controller through the fence, and then go back into the game view. We're in Unity, we can do this. Well, we've got around the fence, but now we have a new problem. This 2-wall high wall is too high for us to jump over, and our previous tactic of no clipping through using the power of game development isn't going to fly either because there's nothing on the other side. We need to augment our character's jump power somehow, so we'll need a new So I downloaded this event off of Sketchfab Among Us and added it to the game along with a particle system that came with the alley kit to give it some steam coming off of it. Then I wrote some code that added adjustable momentum to the player controller when they step onto it, and that means he now rockets into the air when you jump on the vent, clearing the gap and neatly landing on the road I put on the other side. Yeah. The only thing I'd like to add is, a noise that plays when you step on it. In most games that have spring events like, The Simpsons Hit and Run, for example, it plays like a jump sound effect. That's a bit too mainstream for this project. I'd quite like the Harry platformer to be a bit mold breaking in that respect. So I looked around for a sound effect I thought would fit, and yeah. Anyway, we're now up on this platform and it would be kind of boring to just put in another spring vent. So we'll need to implement a new But before that, I decided I wanted to do some set dressing, so I changed up the lighting a bit. The only problem with that is that the player character's hair now looks positively radioactive, but sometimes you just gotta make artistic decisions about whether you care enough to fix things, and since this is for a YouTube video, I don't think I do. I also added some environmental stuff to give the scene a bit more, anything. And now it looks pretty alright for a first go round, plus I added these platforms up here that are going to be useful for when I add in the next. Oh, and I figured out the game's story, by the way. While on holiday, I wind up in the most nightmarish place imaginable. England. I need to get up to my hotel so that I can ask for directions to leave England, but my hotel is all the way up there and I'm all the way down here. I'll never escape England at this rate. Fortunately, I can jump 6 feet in the air somehow, and this street is designed specifically with parkour in mind, so stop asking plot questions now. So anyway, I added one of the moving platforms to the end of the second level because I like moving platforms, but it seems a little empty to just have it be there. So I also added a switch that you can pull that turns it on and off, except the switch currently just sits there not doing anything, so we need to set it up so that we can pull it and then it does something. I could just write the switch, but I'd like this game to be future-proof in case I come back and decide against my better judgment to add more to it later. So I googled polymorphism and now I'm an expert on C# inheritance. The general idea is that instead of writing a bunch of bespoke code for all the different things the player can interact with, instead we just have one single thing called interactable and then bolt on different effects to different interactable objects. That sounds the same, but it's not. Just trust me, please. So I did that, and now when the player is within reach of it, they get a little UI notification to tell them they can interact with it. I also added a bit of an animation and a sound effect when they do interact with it. Yeah, I know, I'm sorry. But the important thing is that I've added a collection of Unity events to it that fire when you interact with it. This particular kind of interactable has 2 states, on and off, and whenever it's either on or off, one of these 2 events activates to do something. In this case, it's just to enable or disable the platform. Disabling the platform doesn't work. Cool, we've got most of the stuff that I want in the game. I'd also like this to appeal to the base human desire to finish game fast by adding a timer that tells you how quickly you've done the level, and a grading system that determines how good you are at my game based on a sliding scale of fast to slow times. Oh wait, I forgot to add music. I think it's a sad game, really, that should capture the essence of the tragic nature of waking up in England. Now we just need to add some post-processing in the finish line and we're done. I decided for a little panache to add a small Cinemachine cutscene at the end, where the character does a different pose based on what grade you got. Well, that was a waste of time, but if you want another waste of time, I'll be uploading one at the same time next week, and it'll look a little like this. Is this going to get me sued by the BBC? Probably. Crisis. Dragons crisis. Well, thanks for watching, fellas. I promise never to continue working on this or do any bug fixing or improvements. Link in the description. Goodbye.